Spider-Man Blue, Mad Love, Saga, Invincible, Mr. Miracle. Stories that cemented couples like Lois and Clark, MJ or Gwen, however you prefer it, with Peter Parker, and of course Rogue and Gambit. These stories transcended the comics and made their way into movies, television and animated shows with both great and not so great adaptations. Because of that, most of you are already familiar with these characters and their journeys into romance, love and relationship extravaganza. So there's no point in going down that road again. Instead, today we will look at some comic book couples that aren't exactly mainstream, still relatively popular, but maybe overlooked or even forgotten, and put them back into the spotlight. Let's start with our favorite claw-slashing mutant, Wolverine, and his relationship with Mariko Yashida. First introduced in the Uncanny X-Men 118 by writer Chris Claremont and artist John Byrne, Mariko was the in to Wolverine's young. They first met in Japan after her cousin Sunfire asked the X-Men for help with some urgent matters. Mariko saw in Wolverine a kind and gentle man, someone truly capable of loving her, someone who had the strength to overcome his animalistic nature and become something better, something noble. Wolverine, on the other hand, believed that Mariko could change him. All he ever wanted was to free her from her father's criminal underworld influence and give her a different life, a better one. Sadly, in the end, Mariko couldn't escape that world and she died, leaving Wolverine heartbroken for many years to come. Stepping away from the superhero genre, we have Maika and Kippa from Monstrous, written by Marjorie Liu and drawn by Sana Takeda. This one isn't a romantic love story, but something closer to a sibling bond. No, not that kind of love. On one side, you have Maika, a young woman who carries inside her a monstrous entity shaped by war, anger and loss. On the other side is Kippa, a much gentler and emotionally optimistic presence. They meet by chance and quickly become inseparable. Another couple that I really enjoy, even though it's a very tragic one, is Eric and Shelley from The Crow by James O'Barr. The comic doesn't spend much time showing their romance, but what little we see is more than enough to understand how deep their love runs, even if it's presented as young and rebellious. When Shelley is brutally killed and Eric is resurrected as the Crow, he spends his quiet moment in the house they once shared, remembering the life and love they had together. Keeping with the goth motif, their love is meant to be eternal, beyond death itself. It's not a realistic or sustainable kind of love, but an idolized one. Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. The two first met in the pages of Alias, still the best Jessica Jones comic series, by the way, written by Brian Michael Bendis. There are several reasons why this is one of my favorite comic book couples, but the main one is that it was never framed as destiny or something special. They hook up in a bar, do a little shaboing, and go their separate ways. After that, they keep seeing each other casually, and over time, real feelings start to grow. They work so well together because Luke never tries to change Jessica. He accepts her exactly as she is. He doesn't romanticize her pain or see her as some kind of emotional cure. He's direct, honest, and most importantly, consistent. Because of that, they eventually have a daughter, Danielle, and try to live as normal a life as possible to keep her safe and raise her the best way they can. They don't do extravagant gestures, they don't lean into melodrama like other couples, and honestly, they can be quite boring. But that's okay, because that's what real love actually looks like. When everything settles into a steady rhythm and you still choose to live with that person every day, that's real love.